This is such a beautiful beach. Would have been a place where First Nations folks collected all their shellfish, harvested them, and left the shells here. And over thousands of years, made a beautiful shell beach, otherwise known as a midden. It's like sort of spiky, but also soft on the feet. It's just like a gentle exfoliation. We're the only ones on the beach right now. Everyone was here earlier in the morning, and it's just sort of midday. So we're out for a little explore.
I found a clapper.
I heard that going. I thought it was a woodpecker.
No, it's just me. Just having a good time. It's the sound of fun.
We are feeling a southerly breeze blowing in. Northerlies dominate the inside passage during the summer, so when you get a southerly, you just can't waste it. So I think we're gonna seize the afternoon here and really head back to the boat now, haul anchor, and see if we can't sail up Fitzhugh Channel.
Okie dokie. Let's go.
I already feel that there's a glorious wind out here.
We haven't felt wind since when we sailed up Queen Charlotte Strait, because there was none yesterday.
The southerlies this time of year usually bring sort of gray, overcast skies, rain. The northerlies are what really brings the summer weather that we love here in BC. So it's odd to be wishing for storms and rain in the summertime, but that's the one time you get to head north when you're sailing here in the PNW.
Yeah, apparently there's a low pressure system that's working its way up the coast offshore. So I think the start of the southerly that we're feeling is probably just the start of that system starting to move across the other side of Calvert Island out on the ocean. So hopefully we can start riding the front of it, get a little further north this evening, and then in the morning there'll still be a bit of wind before it blows itself out tomorrow afternoon. Put the main up while we're motoring out into the wind. That way, as soon as we get out past the rocks, we can turn to starboard and have the wind on the beam for the first little bit before it wraps around Calvert Island, and then we're going fully downwind.
Ready?
Yep.
Having some trouble with the roller furler. It's not letting all the sail out, so we're just having to pull it out and roll it back in. Okay, ready? It's so stiff. There we go. Cruising along on the wind.
Yeah. Always feels good to be able to move your boat around without burning dinosaur bones and other fossil fuels. It's very relaxing. Apart from the issue with our furling line, I think it could be because the sleeve is like pretty chafed. So maybe it's causing some extra friction and binding as it rolls up. It also could be the angle at which the line is entering the drum, because when I held it down a little lower, it stopped it from bunching around. We'll just keep experimenting with it. It wrapped up nicely while I was observing it and kind of just making sure it rolled on properly. So beautiful conditions at the moment. The seas are gently undulating. There's tiny little ripples. I would say it's like maybe 8 knots of wind, We've got the full 160 out, full main, going slightly upwind of a beam, but not quite close hauled. And we're making a comfortable 4.5 knots, which is absolutely perfect. Can't really ask for much more. Be great if a whale breached.
Well, turns out it's not a southerly at all. It is, in fact, a big, gusty northerly. It's still beautiful out here, and we're cruising along at 5 knots or so, tacking back and forth up Fitzhugh Sound. There are numerous anchorages for us to duck into if at any point we don't want to do this anymore, so we'll just enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the sailing.
Oh, I'm enjoying this rough sea otters.
Oh my god!
Let's tack again because we're getting far enough across the channel that the wind is starting to bend around the island to the north of us, which means that we're slowly pointing further and further down the channel again and not making any progress to windward. So let's tack and head back out into the strait where the wind is coming nice and straight down the channel.
Who's driving the boat?
The boat's driving itself. We've managed to find a point where we can balance the boat going upwind and just kind of like clutch off the wheel. Oh, I just lost it. Wind picked up. But yeah, we finally got to a point where we can kind of balance the boat and just let the boat sail itself. Really nice thing to have finally gotten to be able to do. It's kind of like you understand when the boat feels right and the sails are trimmed right, and you just kind of like lock it off and take your hands off the wheel and then just let it go and sail. It's beautiful. You just feel like I'm on watch. I am watching out for whales though, because Fitzhugh Sound has a lot of them. We just seen a pair of humpbacks feeding and had to change course to get around them because they came up 100 yards off the boat and got a big ball of fish, and then we're just kind of like just moseying around. So we came downwind, came back up around them, and now they're back over there. Seeing another one blow off in the distance, another one down south there. There's a lot of whales here in Fitzhugh Sound. They're beautiful, very majestic. There he is.
Okay,
What about the travel?
traveler up. All right,
Ready to tack?
ready?
Tacking. Beautiful. one to you.
Well, it's about 7 o'clock and we decided to call it. We tacked for about 3 hours up Fitzhugh Sound and covered about 7 nautical miles as the crow flies. And we just took down the head sail and are now motoring into a bay called Fifer Bay. Apparently you can anchor in the south side of that bay in about 20 meters. It's definitely protected from southerlies, which could blow up overnight, or at least that's what the forecast is saying. If you've never been here before, we'll get in and check it out, see what it's all about. This is a beautiful anchorage. This is definitely more our style. There is nobody here. It is all old growth forest. It's just peaceful, wild. There's these rocky islets that are super pretty. Do feel a little bit of a northerly wind blowing in through here, but it's definitely minimized, and it's supposed to be soft mud with good holding. So I think we'll be okay.
Well, welcome to our anchorage. We're here in Fifer Bay. Bit of a challenging anchorage to get into. I haven't sweated this hard on an anchoring project in a while. It comes up from 100 feet pretty quickly, and there's steep rocks on one side and steep rocks on the other side. And then the back of the bay also comes up really quickly. But you have a slope that comes up at about 40 feet and comes up to about 26 feet and then straight up. So we kind of dropped right on the edge of it, backed it in. The northwesterly that's still puffing through here is holding us in. The notes on this bay we took from a textbook on the BC coastline from like the 80s. Apart from that, no notes on this anchorage in Navionics. So,
which is probably why there's no other boats here and we have this amazing place to ourselves.
Beautiful spot. We're going to swing on the hook for a little bit and just make sure that we're satisfied with where we're at. And we're just going to take a breather and relax for just a second.
Yeah, this is usually our protocol. We sort of have a beer, float around on anchor, and see if we're happy with where the boat sort of settles.
In relation to everything else.
This is like our own personal rainbow. It's amazing. We were down below because it was raining. We were just downloading some footage and then we popped our heads out and it was magnificent. I'm so glad we came out. We almost missed that. That's the danger of like working too much.
Or just getting stuck into down below world. You forget what's happening up here sometimes.
Computer stuff, Starlink. We actually turned our Starlink on and I was buried in that. And this is the sort of stuff you miss when you're in phone world. So that was a good reminder to not do that. So I'm going to turn this off and enjoy it.
You should turn the Starlink off as well.
Yeah. Good night, y'all. Wow, it's stunning. We just hauled anchor and are on our way this morning. It's been raining all morning and there's certainly been no wind, so we were just sort of hanging out. We're underway here now this afternoon and the sun just came out, so I think it's pretty good timing. We're thinking we're gonna take the scenic route this morning.
Seeing as there's no wind, rather than just motoring straight up the sound, we may as well just meander around islands, jig for some cod here and there, and
We could just hang out on anchor all day and wait for the wind, but you know, there's things to see.
there's fish to catch.
We've got a motor and we're not afraid to use it. Since we left Penrose Island yesterday, we haven't heard or seen any human activity. It's starting to feel a little more remote. There's just pristine wilderness all around us, old growth forests, not a lot of logging or clear cuts, which is a big change from Vancouver Island. It's looking really pristine and untouched. It's absolutely beautiful. We've seen tons of whales the last few days, heaps of eagles, all kinds of different birds. Feeling really excited about being on the Central Coast. It feels really, really good.
We're here in Fish Egg Inlet. I'm not really quite sure why it's called Fish Egg Inlet, but it's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. We came in the south side and anchored in Fifer Bay, and we've just come through a small cut and we're coming out on the north side of it, but the inlet goes quite some distance into the east. We haven't checked that section out. There's a little inlet up near Green Island. Somebody told us it's actually a pretty good spot to go fishing. We're just a little bit after slack today, so there could be a little bit of current going in there, but we're gonna go float it and see what we can pull out of the water. He's gone.
Yeah, as soon as the hook touched the bottom, I had a bite and I had something on there, but he's definitely gone now.
Bugger.
But I'll try again. That was like instantaneous.
What do you think it is this time?
Doesn't feel huge. It's probably another rock cod because that's all I ever catch. Tiny copper rock cod. Well, we didn't have the greatest success with fishing. We hauled up a few smaller rock cod, definitely too small to eat. Really after sort of bigger fish. Bling cod, maybe a nice tasty halibut. I also don't love eating rock cod. They're also sort of endangered in different areas of this coast. They can live to be like 100 years old. They stay in the same area their whole life. They give live birth, some of them. So we tossed back a few smaller fish. We are still trolling a line for a salmon, which we've never really done. So this is our first time trolling a line for salmon. We're going less than 2 knots, which is what they say to do. We've got a flasher on there and a weight and a hoochie, so we'll see how we make out with that. But so far, no bueno. Well, we've already bit into them, but just made us some giant hummus wraps with all the veggies. It's basically a salad inside of a wrap. Oh, it's drippy. Created some fresh stuff. Well, needing to eat our fresh stuff before it goes bad because we don't have refrigeration. We just have an ice box and our ice is melting. We're gonna enjoy these beautiful wraps up on the foredeck. We've been patiently waiting for the last 2 hours or so, and we're just starting to see a wind line on the horizon just south of us. Maybe we will get a little bit of wind after all. James is rolling in the fishing rod, and we're getting ready to potentially sail on the front of this thing. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
It's not the big southerly that we were looking for. Instead of 20 knots, it's maybe like 2. We are moving at 2 knots though with just the genoa up, but I think it's mostly current. But that's fine because instead of motor trolling, we're just sail trolling.
So we were having a beautiful sail this afternoon, and then we got really excited because we seen some dark clouds sort of south of us, and we were like, this is the wind, it's coming. We put out our mainsail and our head sail, and we were planning to head further up Fitzhugh Sound, and then all of a sudden we seen lightning on the horizon, and we were like, if we're gonna duck in, now's the time to do it. We're right next to an anchorage, and other than that, we'd have to sail another 10, 12 nautical miles. The lightning, we made the call. We came into this beautiful inlet, Kwakumi? Kwakumi. I'm gonna say Kwakumi Inlet. So we we came into this beautiful inlet called Kwakumi, where we're riding out the storm. Just making some tacos down below. So I made a tomato salsa, corn salsa, guacamole, and yeah, we're just gonna have a little taco time here on the hook. I think this is where we're gonna leave you though. We're pretty buggered.
Hey, yeah, I'm tired. I didn't sleep particularly well last night in that tiny little anchorage. I think I got up at 1 a.m. and I got up at 3 a.m. just to stick my head out to make sure that the boat was still okay. Rarely do we ever both sleep well.
One of us is always sort of on watch or looking out for things that are going on, which feels really good. Last night I slept really well, but yeah, you looked after the ship. I'm really stoked with how far we got today. It was a fun day.
We're like a third of the way to Bella Bella now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I thought the Central Coast was going to feel a lot bigger, but really, like, you can kind of see the end of Hunter Island already and where Gunboat Passage starts.
I know, that's the thing. We think we're moving super slow because we are. We're basically walking there at the speed of 2 knots an hour.
But yeah, it would be good if the northwesterlies came back up, because then we could sail and it would take us twice as long to go upwind.
It was a fun couple of days. Going around Cape Caution, sailing to Fifer Bay, and then today fishing and getting a nice little southerly. Like, that's as good as it gets, really.
Yeah, it was nice to go downwind for a bit.
It was sunny and warm, and we didn't catch a salmon. Bummer.
It's alright next time.
But yeah, we're just gonna settle in here, have some dinner, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, everyone.
Like, subscribe. If you haven't, smash the like button. Don't say smash, don't smash it, just tap it gently.
We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye for now.